feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride away.
Nigga stuck on stupid right now.
Bare assertions and legal conclusions which aren't sufficient for the court to grant your motion at this point in time and refer it to another judge for it to be heard.
Hey, I seen one of them little thugger pages on Twitter talking about I ain't being thorough covering this shit. Nigga, I'm not, listen, I learned from a Tory case. I'm not finna tell none of y'all little fan pages who covering this shit in the way that y'all want people to believe Young Thug finna come home next month. The nigga not coming home, nigga. Like, I'm starting to give y'all the fucking truth now. The judge, he the only person, unless a higher court step in, has to rule himself off the case. He don't like them niggas. He not gonna rule himself off the case. They're asking him, hey, could you excuse yourself? We think you're being unfair. You think he's gonna be like, I agree with y'all. I'm being unfair. I'm gonna take myself off the case. He's not. He's gonna be on the case until a higher court steps in. The higher court probably not gonna step in. This ain't Donald Trump, okay? This is a bunch of hood gangbangers. They're not stepping in. So what's gonna happen is Young Thug shit gonna continue. And I'm sorry to tell y'all, I know y'all love Jeffrey, but if y'all looking to me to tell y'all some hope and cross your fingers, I'm sorry. They're not getting out. Thug not getting out. Most likely you'll be found guilty. I'm sorry. Like these days, after the Tory shit, nigga, I even asked that lawyer for working niggas. Bro, you should have told me the nigga was going to get found guilty. I wouldn't have no optimism. I don't gain nothing from having optimism. If a nigga going to get found guilty, he's going to get found guilty. I'm sorry. If you a Thug fan, you'll see him in 3 years. If you're lucky. What the fuck? I'm not about to give y'all false hope no more. Bruh, the case is, I'm not saying it's a fair trial. Definitely not saying that. But currently, his attorneys can't do shit. And higher court don't seem to be stepping in. Yes, there's a bunch of motions filed that possibly a higher court could step in. But they're all in cahoots together. The DA and the judge, they winking each other, doing ear motions. Bro, this is all a play. This is all a play. So most likely, even if you don't get found guilty, let's say it's a hung jury, they're gonna try him again. They're gonna keep that nigga in jail. And for the people, listen, it's like when, who the hell we thought was gonna get out on every like bail hearing? He's not getting out on bail hearing. Bro, they've painted him as the guy who's ordering murders. They're not gonna let him out. So unless he beats this case, he's staying in jail for the next at least 3 to 5 years. Stop it. Let's just cut it out, right? Watching this case is just entertainment at this point. I know I sound like an asshole. I sound like an asshole when I tell the truth. It's no way you're watching this YSL trial. You hear this judge basically say, I'm gonna allow all that shit that violates your rights to keep going on, and we're gonna get a trial. We're gonna get probably a verdict. And no matter, like these same pages, you know what I seen them do? They be acting like, oh, Woody spit in the jury. Nigga, they got the fucking video of him snitching years ago. That's what they're now arguing that they're gonna play in full. Cause he lied up there. He's up there saying, I don't remember. Okay, bitch nigga, you don't remember? Let's play the video of you actually snitching to the investigators. Let's refresh your memory with the jury. They're getting found guilty, my nigga. Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. Bruh, it's like, yo, that YSL Melly shit is a once-in-a-lifetime shit. And that's why this is his trial now is probably going to take 2 more years to go back to any goddamn trial at all. You know why? Because they're realizing they got lucky. That YSL Melly trial, there was evidence that they could have convicted him, but thank God they didn't. Apparently, the verdict was only 2 people that said he wasn't guilty. Everybody else said guilty. Remember, everybody got to agree. So now his lawyers are saying, we possibly have a chance. Let's fight. Let's do the trial, pretty much, before we start trial. So they're fighting for what could be allowed in trial, what could be admitted, what should be admissible, and hopefully that'll give them a better outcome. The thing with Thug's trial, this nigga done told y'all he don't fuck with Thug's lawyer. He want to put the nigga in jail. He won't recuse himself. He's not giving no mistrial. He's denied over 50 motions for mistrial from all these niggas. Every 20 seconds, motion for mistrial. Denied. Motion for mistrial. Denied. You know what's going to happen? Thug ain't coming home. Bruh, I know we love hip hop and I know we love these artists, but we're living in La La Land. You're living in La La Land thinking these niggas finna come home soon. Whoever runs Thugger Daily, you're going to be running that shit for 3 years. Trying to keep up with this case. And then the appeals. And then the appellate court. And then, yes, there's going to be 10 contempt charges over this shit. That's the reality of it. This type of charge that Thug got, you don't really ever get innocent verdicts on. And even if it becomes a mistrial, they're going to say, we're going to do it again. And if they do it again, they're going to say, while we wait to do it again, which is going to take over another 1 or 2 years, we can't let this guy out of jail because our whole premise is that he got so much money and power, he's getting people killed and he could coerce people. What does that say? King Slime is going to be king of Fulton County Jail for now. I'm sorry. I be reading these little fan pages. They be like mad. But really, they're just smoke signaling to other fans to act like the nigga finna come home. Nigga, I'll bet y'all any money in the world Young Thug ain't coming home this year. The fuck are y'all talking about? Like, what are y'all like, nigga, do you have a brain? The real question is whether Thug will get a bond from a different judge. My nigga, start using your fucking brain. Let me talk to y'all in realist. This is why I don't like, hey, listen, if y'all want like super legal terms, go watch that Bruce Willis nigga, the Bruce lawyer Willis nigga. Go watch motherfucking lead attorney. Go watch, nigga, I'm gonna break it down on some shit you could understand. Cause I know this is legal shit, but I think everybody in here is smart. Let me ask you a question. Even though they were accused of way more crimes, if they wouldn't let out one of El Chapo's henchmen, you think they would let out El Chapo? No. The point is, Young Thug gonna be the last nigga to get bail. They claim he's the nigga ordering the murders. You don't let him out? Like, what do you mean he gonna get out? Get out to do what? The state's case is that he orders murders. What the fuck are y'all talking about? If you let out the nigga who orders the murders, you might as well let everybody out. Like, are we not like on Earth? When they do this whole thing where they're trying to basically say a nigga's a kingpin, they're calling him King Slime. They're saying that this is an important juncture in the case. And honestly, just me personally, I think most of these things are set up for an appeal. Set up for an appeal. And set up for hopefully they get it, it's going to go through a different judge at that point through an appeal. Here's the thing. Mistrial or not mistrial. Hung jury. Now, if he gets found innocent, I really just don't think he's going to get found innocent, bro. It's just like my nigga. You think the jury's about to sit in this fucking court for 2 years? Hear every fucking person and be like, oh, innocent. Really, my nigga? Bro, that's how we all went into the Tory Lanez fucking trial thinking. Oh, no, it's looking great. He's beating this case. The judge slammed the gavel. 10! Get out of here. Like, we're like, what? Nigga, we're bewildered. We're like, how the fuck Tory got 10 years? We thought he... Nigga, apparently, Everybody, and this is why I stopped like really following some of them pages, because they act like the defense attorney's doing such a good job, like it's the DA's first rodeo. Like the DA's entire job ain't to put niggas in jail. Lance Vance, you said new court, new jurisdiction. Why the fuck would they go to a new jurisdiction? The people of Fulton County is Young Thug peers. They can't make a good argument why he wouldn't get a fair trial. If anything, that will be the prosecutor's argument, because they're going to say he's a beloved figure in Fulton County. You know who usually asks for like I remember somebody notoriously was asking for a different different jurisdiction. But it's because everybody in that jurisdiction was supposed to hate them. They did some fucked up shit. Somebody says, Ak, you clearly ain't been following the trial. I love when y'all say that shit. Nigga, listen, my nigga, I don't give a fuck about following the Thug trial. This shit gonna go on for months. I'm telling you the outcome. We could bet. If any of these little fan pages or any of these other people, I'm down to bet. And I don't like to bet on nigga freedom, but I'm down to bet. What's going to happen here is a nigga ain't getting out of jail this year, next year, or the year after. That's what's going on. So I don't need to follow. Who gives a fuck what's going on in the case right now? He ain't getting out. Who gives a fuck? It's basically entertainment. Oh, Woody's up there. He think he's lying, but they caught him in a lie. None of this shit ain't helping Thug. He ain't finna get out. Who gives a fuck about Woody's lawyer? Like, who gives a fuck? Thug ain't getting out right now. Somebody said Trump asked for a change of venue. Young Thug ain't Trump. Like, what's up with y'all niggas, man? Nigga, before they could prosecute Trump, this is the thing about, yo, in the eyes of these motherfucking officials, Young Thug is some low-level, scum-of-the-earth gangbanger who just got some money. That's it. Donald Trump is a past sitting president and probably the future sitting president. Niggas want to cross their T's, dot their I's with Trump. They don't want to fuck it up. That's why they said, hold on prosecuting him. Let's have this hearing to see if y'all should even be the ones prosecuting him. They did that before his shit started in Georgia. Young Thug and the rest of the co-defendants been begging, get this nigga off our case. Please get this judge out of here. He's not fair. And not one court said, stop the case. We're going to have a hearing if this judge is unfair. Now they just submitted some big ass like, this is the motion. Bruh, nobody give a fuck. I'm just telling you, justice is different depending on who is the person getting persecuted. The same way how it worked out for Trump in Georgia in terms of how that went with Fonnie Willis or whatever. It's the same way he got convicted in New York. In New York, you won't get 30-something felonies for a business error or a business oversight or even finessing with business. But Trump, of course he will. It's a political play. Get that nigga on the hook. Yeah. It's justice. I know they want to act like justice works for the same for everybody. No, nigga. When it comes to justice, it depends on what lawyer you can hire. It depends on what judge your lawyer knows. It depends on a lot of motherfucking things. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. And right now, I believe that if this judge wasn't so emotionally invested, it would be a mistrial. But also, I think they're at the point where like, yo, bro, this shit is taking 2 years, wasting taxpayers' money. Bruh, we don't care if you appeal it, but we gonna get a judgment in today. We gonna get a judgment in this whole thing, bro. Aya says Trump is still on trial in Georgia. I know he's still gonna be on trial, but the way he's gonna be prosecuted is very different. And actually, that puts in jeopardy his whole prosecution. Right? Very different. very different. If before you get prosecuted or before you, like, has he been arraigned? I think he did get arraigned. He did get arraigned in Georgia, I believe. Before your trial even starts, if they're having hearings, legitimate hearings, where the motherfucking judge is or the head DA is getting grilled. Have y'all seen Fonnie Willis in court one time with Young Thug? Yes or no? No, nigga. Fonnie Willis is sit up somewhere sucking some other special prosecutor's cock, allegedly. Don't sue me, Fonnie. Yeah, she's chilling. For Trump, they dragged her ass in there. Tell us about y'all going on that cruise to Bahamas. Bitch, where you get that money from? Grilling the shit out of her. You see, Osama been smoking. See, this is why I don't like talking about these cases. Y'all get too emotionally invested in it because of the rappers that y'all like. Of course, I want Thug to be out to make music. I'm telling you what this, I really, trust me. I wish when it came to the Tory trial, even I'm going back and I've looked at it and watched the conversation I had with Lawyer for Workers. He said there was a point he knew that Tory was going to get, was going to get found guilty. And I said, why didn't you make a video about that? Because everything you told us made him seem innocent. Or not innocent, made him seem like in the eyes of those jury, that's the only way they could possibly vote. Then we were shocked. But you said you felt, oh shit, nah, they about to vote guilty. And you didn't tell us. We watched that trial through the eyes and ears of other people who told us, nah, this shit looking good. Tory finna come home. Nigga, we thought that we were gonna hear the biggest announcement ever. So you know what I've realized, me having a platform now, and especially with these trials we can see, I'm not gonna be sitting here. If y'all looking for hope, go follow a fan page. I'm not finna give y'all no damn hope when shit don't look too good. This don't look too good, and I don't give a fuck who says it looks good. If y'all think that a 2-year, it's about to be on 2 years, 2-year proceeding is looking good when a nigga up there trying to lie snitch or try to act like he ain't snitching, but he is snitching, they're over here, I think they are coercing him, but it doesn't matter because it's not like Thug about to walk out of jail. Who cares? Somebody says, so how do you feel about Vybz Cartel? Yeah, Vybz Cartel bail was turned down. He's going to try to appeal again. I'm hoping Vybz Cartel gets out. I'm hoping he gets out. And by the way, truth be told, I followed, this is 13 years ago in 2011. Oh, no, actually, no, the trial was like 2014, probably. 2013. I watched when the trial of Vybz Cartel. Again, I was listening. There wasn't cameras in the court. I was listening to reporters who wanted to appease Vybz Cartel fans. Basically, almost hype up the fans. No, it's looking crazy. Bruh, keep in mind, Vybz Cartel got convicted because he's on a video saying, let's chop up the body real fine. Then they can't find the body. Come on, bruh. We just got to use our brain. Now, granted, nigga, I'm not in here saying Vybz Cartel innocent. I just think he could get out of jail on appeal on a technicality. That happens all the time. I'm not saying that nigga is just completely innocent. The nigga's on tape telling the dude, when you stab him in the neck, make sure you don't stab me. Then he says, we're going to chop the body up. Then he says another thing, you'll never find the nigga. Then the cops couldn't find the nigga. Come on, bruh. It's the fan in me who's saying, even with all of that, where's the body though? Where's the body? That's the fan in me. That's the delusional fan in me. Where's the body though? How could it be a murder if you can't find the body? Nigga, he's on video describing why we don't have the body. Let's stab him in the neck. Let's do this. Let's chop him up. Let's make sure he's never been found. That's exactly what happened, my nigga. That's what happened, bro. So this whole thing with Thug, it's like niggas want to hear some delusional shit. Niggas want to hear Thug coming home next week. Oh yeah, now the judges like you're having fans get mad. Oh yeah, this ex parte meeting was actually coercion, and that really goes against all the Georgia courts, and the Supreme Court of Georgia ruled on a similar case from this. Case law says that this might be grounds for an immediate dismissal, and we think that because Thug's been locked up so long, he's gonna get out. No! They said he was killing or ordering the deaths of niggas. It don't happen like that. It's like YSL Melly. His shit was a mistrial. He said, can I get bail? No, nigga, we think you killed your friends. The fuck? Sit in jail. We're gonna do this again. That's how they do it. Nigga, if you think YSL Melly finna get bail, nigga, you are retarded. Fuck no. Nigga, the moment they give him bail, it's like they're admitting that, we don't think he's that dangerous. No! Our whole point is that this is one of the most dangerous individuals on earth. He killed his 2 homies. Like, what the fuck? Nigga, YSL Melly will never see outside of a jail cell, nigga, until he beats that case. That's a fact. Y'all open the lot of y'all? All right, cool. He about to get bail next week. Oh, let me do a little Dirk. Melly gonna be home by Christmas. Actually, that's what I should do for Thug Fest. Thugger gonna be home by Christmas. I ain't say which Christmas. By Christmas. Remember when that nigga, Dirk kept telling us that Rondo be home by Christmas. Nigga, we've been waiting this whole time, nigga. Which Christmas this nigga talking about? What Christmas nigga talking about? Facts only says why I keep comparing apples to oranges. Facts only. I'm using a little bit of common sense. Okay? So if you know, I've seen Thug fans become so technical, but we have to start using a little bit of common sense. Thug got denied bail 4 times. They've tried to make all type of reasons why they think he should get out. The prosecutor's reasons of him staying is that he's the guy who's the most dangerous. Why? Not because he pulls the triggers, but he calls the shots. He orders murders. Everybody keeps talking about, oh, the trial is crazy. It is. It's like a circus. It looks crazy. This judge is arguing. This woman right here, she look lost half the time. This shit sometimes is comical. Here's the thing about it. This isn't that much of a priority, clearly, where they will stop this court to have a higher court decide on some of these issues. They're asking the same judge. Let me ask you a question. If you think somebody won't give you a fair shot, and the only way currently for you to get somebody else to give you a fair shot is for you to ask the guy you think that not giving you a fair shot to let somebody else look at it, why the hell would he think he being fair? So you know what he gonna keep saying? Denied. Mistrial denied. I heard him like talk to Thugger lawyer, like, hey, you filed a nice motion. You filed it on time. He gave the nigga all the props, but denied. Yes.
So I'm going to deny the motion at this point in time. I invite you all to look at Baptiste versus the state. Just because adverse rulings have been made, doesn't mean that the court stops the trial. So I'm going to make the.
They keep asking the same nigga. Like, yo, if me and you are arguing and I'm saying you're wrong and you're saying I'm wrong and that's what it is. Do you think that it's even reasonable for me to ask you to take yourself out of the argument and put somebody else because I thought you were wrong? You would have to acknowledge that you were wrong. So you're not acknowledging it. So to me, I just think it's stupid. So I think this shit gonna go all the way to it's gonna go to a jury. It's gonna go to a jury verdict, and I'm gonna just be honest with y'all, bruv. The instructions they're gonna give the jury was gonna prove, based on the crime that Thug is charged with, they're gonna prove that that motherfucker was the shot caller for a bunch of Negroes that was doing crime. They're gonna say guilty, my nigga. Like, come on, bro. Like, nigga, they have hella niggas snitching. They have hella statements on record. Hey, could we introduce 5 of these other guys who are in this organization also saying that YSL is a gang, YSL is a criminal, or like, come on, like what, like y'all really think somebody gonna come out of this and say innocent, my nigga? Like, come the fuck on, bro.
Those make that. I'll reduce both of the motions to recuse to an order, and I will file that so you can take whatever steps you need to necessarily after that.
Brian Steele responded, putting Judge Glanville and the prosecution on notice.
We assert not a bare assertion or a legal conclusion, but we make facts that we specifically adopt from the Honorable.
Oh, and by the way, you know what? I'm gonna do something interesting. One of them fan pages, them little Thug fan pages, I'm gonna invite y'all to come on here and y'all tell me what the fuck relevant parts of this case we're not covering. Because I'm telling you, there is no relevant parts of this case. Nigga, we're not Law and Order. All we want to know is Thug getting out soon? That's why we're kind of lightly covering it. This shit is going on every day. Y'all niggas could keep watching Thug in court every day. I don't want to watch Thug in court every day. Call me for the highlights. I'll go watch it on Sports Center. I'm not watching this shit every day, okay? So you tell me what I'm missing, and if it doesn't contradict what I'm saying in terms of the grand scheme of things, I don't want to hear you. I don't give a fuck about no little motions and this and third. Is Thug getting out? Is this case looking like there's going to be a mistrial? If it ain't, that nigga going to be in motherfucking Fulton County just kicking up, whacking off the Mariah the Scientist and Jerica Carle pictures. That's it. Sorry to tell you, I like Young Thug's music. I want him to come out, but being delusional does not help him come out.
Attorney Winchester, Collins, Banks, Nove, and Mormon's motion where a person...
No, you're not hearing what I'm saying. By the way, I watched this in my spare time. I'm just not going to be covering every fucking minute detail. That's irrelevant. They file 55,000 motions a day. This nigga says no to every single one of them. The goddamn, and when he files a motion, the other idiot attorneys all raise their hands saying, I'm filing the same motion for my client. So he says, no, 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 no. And then they go on to something else. Then it says, no, 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 no. And that's all that's happening in this fucking case. There's nothing else happening. Woody's trying to have snitch, but he already snitched.
That they represent was in a meeting, ex parte, with the court and others and the prosecutor. And
by the way, I'm also not saying Brian Steele is horrible. I think he's doing an amazing job. Like, he's dragging this shit out. He's making it, again, you know, after you say there's a conviction, hopefully there's not, but let's say there is. You could go for an appeal and they could say no to the appeal because they could say, yo, everything looked like it was done properly in the original trial, right? Like, it don't look like your client's rights or your client wasn't granted a fair trial. The reason why most of this shit is being done is like, it's setting grounds for 100% an appeal, right? 1,000,000%. Like, I bet people on that too, even though that would behoove Thug. Like, if he does get convicted, like 100% is going to be an appeal, right? There's been too many mistakes in this shit. It still don't mean Thug going to be out of jail though. At least for a few years. That's my point. Like, this is all for none. I really hope they get to a point where they just look at Thug and be like, yo, bro, just take 20 years probation, bro, and get out of here, bro. You've been locked up for a few years. Just take 20 years probation, bro.
Witness, and specifically, they wrote in a pleading and under Parish, which is Parish versus State, which is 362 Georgia.
Oh, they're going to play statements about Birdman and Thug tomorrow? Really? Shit, I might have to tune in for that then. That might be interesting. Yeah, it's like a soap opera. It's more soap opera in you figuring out like the tea than you thinking Thug finna come. Ain't no way you watching this like yo Thug finna come home. It's just no fucking way you're watching this and like thinking Young Thug is close to freedom.
Georgia Appeal 392 Division 1 2022, the lawyer's pleading on behalf of the client becomes a statement of the client. And they said that this court got involved with speaking with Mr. Copeland and assisted in Mr. Copeland testifying against Mr. Williams. So I've added this court to the witness list. I plan on calling the court as a witness in the trial. I added lawyers Hilton and Love from the district attorney's office to the witness list. And when I cross-examine Mr. Copeland, when that day comes, I'm going to ask him about how much pressure, if any, the court put on him. And you're going to be the one instructing the jury. And I just can't imagine how that's fair to Mr. Williams.
So Brian Steele is saying he may call Judge Glanville as a witness, along with members of the prosecution team. Can you imagine? Steele's claiming Judge Glanville made himself a witness because of this hearing. So what about that transcript of the ex parte meeting? Brian Steele's been asking for it now for a week.
I've read your affidavit, Mr. Steele, and I've consumed everything on it, and that doesn't change my ruling at this point in time, respectfully.
I think he denied everything. Now, granted, there's a great legal argument that Brian Steele is making. A lot of like legal minds agree with them, basically saying this case is fucked because that meeting makes the prosecutors and also the judge witnesses to a case that they are prosecuting, and he's supposed to be a neutral, impartial party to, which already makes it unfair to the defendant because one of the witnesses, their job is to put him in jail, and the other witness is not supposed to be involved, right? So I get all of that. Like, I'm with it. Like, I actually 100%. This ain't fair to Thug. I'm never saying it's fair to Thug. I'm just saying, unless something happens, you can't ask the same fuck nigga to make a different decision when the decisions he's making is backing up his rulings and his actions. And then these prosecutors are like, let me just keep our head down while we keep doing what we do. Regardless, and it just shows you how shitty the legal process is a little bit. Thug is not getting bail. And he's just withering away and rotting in jail. I'm sorry to make it sound like that, but that's kind of what it is. Like, it would be different if the legal process was like, yo, bro, this look like y'all violating him, bro. At least allow him to go home, allow him to fight this case from house arrest. No, like the prosecutors have said this thing that I think most judges, they usually just side with the prosecutor. They said this nigga is a kingpin of this criminal organization that has killed people, and he's ordered the murders. He's facilitating A, B, C, and D. And just nobody with a brain would give Thug bond if you don't give. If Thug gets a bond, everybody else who's not held on previous charges or previous sentences that's in court, they got to get a bond. He's the top of the, like, again, like, y'all get what I'm saying, man. You can't give the top guy a bond, but no one else.
Like the recordings and the transcript, and I object to the court going through it and deleting, because to me, the way I understand it, there is zero privilege. So I don't understand
I'm not going to, Mr. Steele, I can't argue with you about anything such as I've made my ruling, okay? If you have some other basis to ask for the recordings or anything like that, you're going to have to put those in some other pleading. But at this point, Miss Weaver is going to prepare the record. She does that. And like I said earlier, the record should be ready soon. And you all, as a defense group, will have the opportunity to take a look at that particular ex parte transcript that was done in chambers. less anything that is totally that the court considers to be privileged. And I'm going to let you do that before you examine Mr. Copeland. So you'll have everything that you have at that point in time.
So now the defense attorneys will actually get the transcript of the meeting, at least a part of it.
Yeah, Thug been keeping a good demeanor up, but bro, like, yo, it gotta suck, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wonder what he really, this Gunna thing is kind of simmered down a bit, but he gotta hate Gunna, man. Gunna free as a bird, fucking 5 bitches a day. You know what I mean? Going outside, taking a deep breath. You know what I mean? Nigga overdosing on Ozempic, going to the gym. He had Planet Fitness. Nigga performing at the Barclays. Like, what the fuck? Like, that nigga living a good old life, man. Like, Thug gotta hate that nigga, man. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, if I'm Thug, I hate that nigga, man. Real talk.
I'm going to let you do that before you examine Mr. Copeland. So you'll have everything that you have at that point in time.
So now the defense attorneys will actually get the transcript of the meeting.
Nigga making a virtual beat. I see you, Thug.
At least a part of it. So I want to bring in 2 people to discuss this matter. The first is Judge Robert Peeler. He sits on the Court of Common Pleas in Warren County, Ohio. And Daryl Cohen.
Oh, they got a judge in here. Okay.
He's an attorney based in Atlanta. So Judge Peeler, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on Brian Steele telling the judge or asking the judge, to recuse himself and asking for a mistrial. The judge, of course, this morning denied that request. He said, I'm not going to recuse myself. But your thoughts on this whole mess?
Well, my thoughts are based on, first of all, the fact that I am a judge in Ohio, and states differ somewhat as far as the ethical rules and also the legality of these matters. I can't really say specifically anything about this case or what's happening other than in general. I can talk about process and procedure.
What are your thoughts on this whole issue of having the ex parte hearing without the defense present, in which Kenneth Copeland was represented by counsel, and then there's this discussion about what will happen if he doesn't testify. He's told he could be held until the end of the trial, possibly even longer. And he's being told what could happen if he doesn't testify. And then the defense wasn't told about this hearing. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, any type of ex parte conference is always questionable. There are reasons that a judge can have an ex parte communication, but generally you want both attorneys present for that. And it would, in my opinion, as a judge, I would certainly want both attorneys there. If there's some specific reason why an attorney would not be involved, such as if someone's life was in danger, then I would certainly want to make a good record of that, because these are generally always reviewed. Different issues here. First of all, the legality of what's happening. Second, the contempt issue is a totally separate matter. Mm-hmm. So I would just want to be very careful about any ex parte conference or communication.
I want to bring up the Judicial Code of Conduct for Georgia, and it's Conduct 2.9, and this is what the defense cites. It says, assuring fair hearings and averting ex parte communication, and it talks about when these things can be held. And it says, when circumstances require ex parte communications, and they're authorized for scheduling, administrative purposes, or emergencies that do not deal with substantive matters or issues on the merits, provided that A, the judge reasonably believes that no party will gain a procedural, substantive, or tactical advantage as a result of the ex parte communication, and B, the judge makes provision promptly to notify all other parties of the substance of the ex parte communication and gives the parties an opportunity to respond. So in court, Judge Blake.
So another thing too, and he's not saying it here. He said it that one day when he held him in contempt. He basically said the reason why they met with Woody. So Thug's lawyer is saying, y'all met with the witness because he didn't want to testify. Y'all met with the witness to threaten him that he had to testify, right? Like if you don't testify, you're gonna get locked up. The judges said, no, that conversation and the reason why y'all weren't invited is that we didn't discuss, that wasn't the discussion. The discussion was primarily based about his either criminal history or like his status in relation to another case or like previous shit that needed to be clarified before, going forward. And because it had to do with Woody's business and not necessarily Woody's business in that case, and this is the judge's opinion, they didn't have to bring in both attorneys, right? Obviously Brian Steele is saying, well, I heard y'all were in there. Yeah, you could say that, but we heard that y'all were threatening him that he had to testify in this case, which is our business. And now they're, apparently the court reporter, I think this is the madame right here, she supposedly, transcribed that whole meeting, and it is now, that's why they're saying we want to see the transcript of the meeting to see if it was nothing to do with this particular case and only Woody's like previous things, but it appears that they probably was in there threatening that nigga Woody, like, yo, Woody, man, stop playing, nigga, like you finna be in jail for eternity if you don't tell, right? So I'm actually on Brian Steele's side. I just think that when you have a judge in his feelings, you have a judge who's now feeling that he's being challenged, and also knowing that so many eyes are on him, and they do have an ego because the court is ran and operated off what you say, so you don't want to feel like you're losing control by listening or correcting yourself or admitting you were wrong. So stuck.
Glanville last week was furious that Brian Steele even found out about this, because he said, this happened in my chambers. We had a court reporter there. Nothing was wrong with this. We were discussing potential contempt of court for this witness. And so you didn't really have a right to be there. A transcript was taken. Brian Steele disagrees. But it sounds a little bit sticky, Judge. I mean, it sounds sticky from where we all sit, but what are your thoughts just basically as a judge? Do you think this is something that should have happened?
Well, as a judge, I'm always very cautious about any ex parte communication. It's frowned upon and it's generally prohibited. There are exceptions, and the question is whether or not this exception has been met. Any exception has been met. That's my general response.
Mm-hmm.
My bad with that.
So, Daryl, you're down there in Atlanta. You're sometimes in Judge Glanville's courtroom. This has been a big deal. It's been in the press a lot over the last week or so. We've covered it. A lot of outlets have covered it. And Brian Steele was held in contempt. He doesn't believe Judge Glanville should be presiding over anything having to do with the contempt issue because he's a witness. He also thinks the judge should be recusing himself from the trial, anything having to do with this. Judge Glanville said this morning, well, that's not happening. I'm staying on this case. So he said he was going to write up an order for that. But your thoughts on the ex parte communication as an attorney, somebody who practices down there in Fulton County. I mean, the attorney for Kenneth Copeland outlines in this document what happened in that meeting. And Lil Woody said, I don't want to testify, and this is why. He then made some statements apparently about statements of fact, and then said, I'm going to get up there and testify since you're saying I could be held indefinitely because of this. But everything I'm going to say is going to be a lie. And then he gets up on the stand, and now he's in the middle of days-long testimony. But your thoughts on this whole thing as an attorney who practices down there?
To start with, I'm very disturbed. But this is not what I call a PFA. This is not pick from air. This has happened since the very beginning of this trial, which is the longest trial that has ever taken place in the state of Georgia. I think what is happening, a little separate and apart from this, is Judge Glanville is trying to take back his courtroom. As people who have followed this know, he's had problems with the assistant DA where there was virtually a shouting match. My view, he should have said one more word, you're going to be in contempt. He didn't do that. So now he has an ex parte hearing in his courtroom. And in my view, that it was not appropriate. Brian Steele, how he found out, my guess would be a deputy sheriff or a member of the judge's staff, with a limited number of people that could have said something. And when
Or little
he
Woody's
chose that
lawyer.
I'm sorry?
Little Woody's
I mean,
lawyer, Caleb Bumpus, could have told him.
could have been him. But regardless of who it was, Judge Glanville was insistent, I want to know who told you. I think that Brian Steele's conduct in the courtroom, as we saw it on video, was appropriate. He was nice. He was respectful. He said no, spelled N-O, not K-N-O-W. And so when Judge Glanville said, I'll give you 5 minutes, and Brian Steele said, no, I'm not going to do it. And so the fact that he was found in contempt, I think Judge Glanville was wrong. It was inappropriate. And the fact that Brian Steele is asking that Judge Glanville not preside over the contempt, I think is appropriate. I'm not a judge. My view, nothing more, nothing less.
And Brian Steele, he filed for a supersedious bond with the Georgia Appellate Court, the Supreme Court. That was granted, so he's not having to spend his weekends in jail.
Yet.
So Judge Peeler is throwing a defense attorney in jail for contempt over an issue like this. I mean, is that pretty extreme? I mean, what are your views on that as far as sending an attorney to jail for 10 weekends in a row? I mean, it sounds very severe. And he was very upset because Brian Steele found out about something that happened in his chambers, and he wanted to know where the information came from. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, from a judicial point, this appears to be a high pressure matter that has gone on for an extremely long time. It wears on a judge, and controlling the courtroom is difficult. It doesn't have to be a case of this nature. Anytime you have adversaries and good adversaries, there's a lot of pressure. So judges find themselves, I know I do often, working hard to try and maintain a cool, calm disposition, and you can't always. So you have to keep that in mind. It's a difficult thing to do. It's easier for us to sit here and look at it and discuss it than it is to actually live it.
All right, man. I kind of get the gist of this shit. All right. Anyway.